Hello everyone, and welcome back to everyone's favorite GPU stress tester, Bullet Heavens. If you're unfamiliar with the genre, here is a unbiased video to get you up to speed. For the Cliff Notes version, Bullet Heavens, or Reverse Bullet Hells, are games where you have to build up extreme firepower to fend off an onslaught of enemies, lest ye be destroyed. Last time I covered them, I showed off some of my favorites, and you all recommended me some of yours in the comments. To thank you for your generosity of simply suggesting rather than crucifying, flaying, burning, and beating me, I'll be covering some of the most requested Bullet Heavens from all of you. You know, it's kind of funny that the theme of that video was that playing Bullet Heavens was taking up too much of my time and preventing me from making videos, and then you all go and suggest me a bunch of them to play. Yeah, I see how it is. Holocure, Save the Fans, is a bullet heaven based off popular VTubers from the talent group Hololive. It's also the game I saw requested the most, which is an interesting insight into all of you. I know what you are. I wasn't familiar with this game because frankly, I don't watch VTubers. At least, not the women.
You are gay! You like men!
The general plot of this game is that the fans of Hololive have been mysteriously brainwashed and are spreading chaos. So it's up to their favorite VTubers to save them. You see that little heart? Yeah, don't worry, it's all good. The biggest draw for this game is the characters. There are a lot of them. Every character not only has their own unique basic weapon and special abilities, but also, not one, not two, but 3 character-specific skills, all on theme with their respective VTuber. I can only imagine the developer is chained to his desk and forced to watch VTuber streams in a Clockwork Orange type setup. With all these different VTubers available, how do you unlock your favorite, wait, hold on. Oshi. Well, my friends, it's quite simple. You just have to do, oh dear God, no. Listen, I already have one problem, and I cannot afford to develop another one. Using in-game coins and not any kind of premium currency, you can pull for characters on their respective banners. Getting a character you already have buffs that character and gives you a chance to get a costume. Along with actually using your characters for the whole Bullet Heaven thing, you can hang out with them in the Holo House. A feature I haven't messed with much because playing dolls with VTubers sounds like a bit much. But if that's how you want to spend your time, far be it from me to meta progression is expensive, and frankly, who is the time to earn all those coins? With this one simple trick, you can turn a little money into infinite money. Observe. Welcome to how to time X. What the fuck is this hand? Because you know what we do here is we slide the dealer some money. Piece of shit. Oh, fuck. No. God damn it. Fuck. We can come back from this. What do you mean you can't cash out into coins? Gameplay. For starters, this game is kinda hard. There's not an overwhelming amount of enemies on screen at any given time, but those enemies are tankier than in most games, and often spawn in specific patterns to trap you. The weapon selection is somewhat limited, but you can mix them together into a wide variety of collabs, all of which are very unique to prevent your runs from getting monotonous. Collabs are also not dependent on your passives, giving you complete freedom of choice there. Holocure is an extremely solid bullet heaven, and I see why so many people recommended it, but I must warn you, treasured viewer, it is surprisingly effective VTuber propaganda. Why don't you take a propaganda at these Horde Hunters is a fantastic new bullet heaven that just released on Steam. For full disclosure, I received a free key for this game, but I was not paid any money to cover it, nor do I have any rules about what I can say about it. That being said, they wouldn't have to pay me anyway. The number one thing that sets this game apart from others in the genre is the map. Bullet heaven maps aren't generally much to write home about. They're often very fun environments to look at, but don't always have much in the way of mechanics. In Horde Hunters, there's a lot of stuff on your map, and initially it can be very confusing, but once you get the hang of what's what, you can make good use of it. If you need gold, hit the mines. If you need health, you find an apple tree. If you need an assortment of animals that you can use as consumable explosives, just pay a visit to your local farm. Proper knowledge of and use of the map will give you a huge advantage in making it to the 20-minute mark. That, and dealing with all the random events along the way. Events like wind affecting your movement, portals you either have to destroy or deal with a group of enemies that come through it, firefighting, and most importantly, rescue and protection missions. What's so special about these missions? Well, completing them gives us the big, strong man of our dreams. My favorite thing about this game is recruiting party members. Recruiting members works much the same way as picking a weapon, and it takes up the same slots. The reason I would pick them over weapons is because once you get a party member, you can have as many of that class as you want. And an upgrade for that class is automatically applied to each member of that class. Doing this does make the price of recruiting one of those members go up, so I would recommend stocking up on numbers first and then boosting them all with upgrades second. I like to build up a small army and take more of a managerial role in the match. Once you make it to the 20-minute mark, a small arena will form, where you'll face off against 2 elite enemies and the final boss. If you made it to the 20-minute mark, you should have no problem clearing this final hurdle. Just a heads up for this fight, the switch from the camera being centered on you to being in a fixed position can be a little bit jarring. It's very easy to lose track of your character if you have a lot of party members with you. And the first time that I got to this fight, I actually thought I died because the camera stopped following me. Halls of Torment was another game that came highly requested in the comments. The Diablo 2 style graphics add a lot of charm to the game. I haven't personally played Diablo 2 because it's older than I am, but I've always believed that a good style is better than good graphics. I'm 24 by the way, in case one of you is feeling old. You are. Gameplay wise, it's very solid. The weapons you can acquire are fun, and I like how specific the upgrades are, allowing you to really get what you want out of them. I wasn't blown away by the first 2 playable characters, Robin Hood and the Wretch from Elden Ring, but once I unlocked the Exterminator, it was a whole new world. He's literally me. The further you get into the game, you unlock much more interesting characters as you take on much more interesting enemies. The game has a very solid enemy variety, all with their own unique behaviors. Something else I really like is how the damage noise sounds like you're getting shanked to death in a prison. Just like in Death Must Die, the item system is a really nice touch. Items give you buffs that only last for the runs that you collect them on, unless you're able to get to the well where you can send them up to be permanently unlocked. These buffs can be simple stat boosts or stronger effects like summons that help you on your run. It's certainly not as complex as some other games, but it handles the mechanics it does have extremely well. If you're looking for a solid bullet heaven that you don't need to play with the wiki open on your second monitor, then I highly recommend you check this one out. Picayune Dreams is another bullet heaven that came highly requested on the last video, and since it was a recommendation, I, the reviewer, can ask you, the viewer, what on God's green earth did you people make me play? Picayune Dreams is a bullet heaven, bullet hell, and goddamn horror game all rolled into one. You play as an astronaut child soldier named Spoilers, as you go about your mission to destroy the Aberration. The Aberration is a cosmic force that corrupts everything around it and threatens to destroy the entire Earth. And standing between you and your goal is the entire population of Spamtopia from Smiling Friends. As you kill enemies, they drop XP in the form of numbers, which is pretty refreshing compared to the generic collectible dots. Your upgrades come in the form of augments to your body, which actually alter your player model. These augments can be upgraded as many times as you can level up. Now, this might be a skill issue, but to me, these descriptions are indecipherable gobbledygook. So during your first run, you might have a hard time figuring out what upgrade does what. For the time being, just experiment and look up what everything does in the collection tab in the menu. Or frankly, if you're a fan of these games, you should know to have the wiki open at this point. You're able to build up a pretty impressive arsenal, and you'll need all that firepower to survive. The enemies in this game do a very good job of swarming you, and without upgrades, you have a max of 10 hits with limited chances to heal. So you need to make sure that you're building up more than enough firepower to keep the corrupted horde at bay. After completing a wave, you'll receive a transmission from that stage's boss. These transmissions will include little bites of lore, and something along the lines of Alt F4 yourself. The boss fights are where you pull a Lucifer and go from a bullet heaven to a bullet hell. Quick note, I am very bad at bullet hells. The GPU in my computer can handle these projectiles just fine. It's the one in my brain that's struggling. Once you defeat a boss, you can move on to your choice of 4 different stages. What you're really choosing here is which new enemy to introduce into your run. so figure out which one annoys you the most and avoid it. You'll repeat this process for the 4 normal bosses until you run into the final boss, the very concept of psychosis. Good luck. When you die, you'll return to the menu where you can spend points on the skill tree. If you see crosshairs on the Collections tab, make sure to click on it because you've completed the requirements to unlock a new item, but that new item won't show up in runs until you've viewed it. This is the normal gameplay loop, unless of course you managed to beat a new boss and collected the memory. Collecting the memory will have you play through a short sequence that helps reveal the lore of the game. Another note, I'm also really bad with horror games. I love horror movies, but games get me 100 times worse, and I would really appreciate it if you all refrain from tricking me into playing them in the future. Just like Horde Hunters, Scarlet Tower is a newly released bullet heaven that I was given a key for by the developers to review. I'm not being paid to say anything about it, and just like Horde Hunters, they didn't have to. I was, however, given a Steam key to give away. Scarlet Tower is a game where you're definitely going to get your money's worth. The difficulty is a little on the higher end. There have been a few times where everything was going great, and then boom, dead. If you find yourself getting stuck, do what every mid-tier celebrity does when they're exposed for being a sex pest, and turn to the Holy Bible. Maxing out the Bible will let you unlock the Paladin, who will carry you until you can bulk up the meta progression enough. The fusions are done really well. There's lots of different combos, including multiple for the same item, and once items are fused, they can be reacquired at level 1 and fused again. My favorite fusions are the necromancy ones. Necromancy in these games will always get a thumbs up from me, and with these different fusions, you can apply elements to your rotting horde. As I've been playing a lot of bullet heavens recently, it's really nice to see what items you need for fusions instead of needing to check a separate window or a wiki to keep track. As heavy as the game is on weapons, there's even more passives that you can get. These can be simple or they can be game changers. Both weapons and passives have classes assigned to them, which you can mix and match. Getting enough passives for a certain class will spawn an NPC. Once you complete their mission, which can be such thrilling objectives as walking 20 entire meters, you can recruit them to fight with you. Some of these allies are very good at clearing out enemies, and some of them are even better at dying. I love the art style for this game, where the map and the models are all in pixel art, but the effects are these cool lights. For the meta progression system, you may have noticed by now that I get pretty excited when you can collect gear in these games. And this case is no exception. What I like about the gear in this game is besides just the stat boosts from the individual items, there's also a set bonus for collecting matching gear. Each mission has 3 different sets you can collect, and each piece of armor has a rarity level. Obviously, the better the rarity, the better the stat bonus. Beating a mission will allow you to up its corruption level. Upping this level will not only make it harder, but it will give you a chance to get better items. So if you want max level drip, you're gonna have to grind for it. May the Lord God help you if you're going for the Hydro or the Frozen set. Fuck this mission. In the first Bullet Heaven video, I talked a lot about replayability being huge in these games, and this is where you're gonna get your fill. You'll need plenty of runs to get through the normal meta progression system anyways. But maybe you're someone who doesn't want to wait, and maybe just maybe I can help you speed it up a little. Now listen, the devs sent me this game, but I don't know if they're actually going to see this video, so you may have to act fast on this one. There's a glitch with the armor select screen, where if you sell a piece of armor, it doesn't actually disappear from your inventory until you move to a different screen. But you still get the gold, and since it's still on screen, you can sell it again as many times as you want. This will only get you gold, so it won't completely cheat the system, but it'll certainly help. But you didn't hear it from me. Disfigure is a game that almost didn't make it on this list, but it actually ended up being one of my favorites. You play as a tiny man fighting for your life in what I can only assume is a petri dish from hell. The main gimmick of the game? You don't get to see it. In this game, your vision is extremely limited, either to a small radius around you or to a flashlight cone that gives you more range but leaves you open to get flanked. Most of the enemies coming at you will be outside of your vision, only becoming visible moments before attacking, alongside ranged enemies that shoot at you from the darkness. At first, dealing with the blindness is a big hurdle, with your fear of the unknown forcing you to play defense. But as you unlock upgrades, you'll become powerful enough to embrace the meta of bravely firing into the darkness. Remember Bird's first rule of firearm safety: if you can't see, it's okay to shoot at noises. My second rule of firearm safety is, if I have a firearm, you aren't safe. Some of the different upgrades include Ricochet, Fire, Lightning, Missiles, Shadow Clone Jutsu, a Singularity, and Bleed. Yeah buddy, I'm pretty sure every bullet makes you bleed. I've played around with a lot of the upgrades, and I'm yet to find one that I don't like. Maxing out missiles not only made them extremely powerful, but it also lets you illuminate the area around them. The missiles follow your mouse, so if you keep shooting, you have a handy little searchlight to look for enemies. The only issue with it is that once you find some, they're already gone. Another upgrade I really like is the Singularity. It tracks your mouse just like the missiles, but not nearly as fast. Upgrade it a few times, and shooting into it makes it grow, and also makes it launch projectiles at enemies. These projectiles track enemies even if you can't see them. Maximizing this allowed me to evolve past the need to see at all. Besides just the assorted creepy crawlies in the dark, there's a boss fight every 5 minutes. These fights are pretty simple, but you have to split your attention between the boss and the other enemies that are still creeping around. The developers really take advantage of the limited visibility in this game to give the bosses a really cool sense of scale, because most of their body is always off screen, really giving the player the sense of how massive they are compared to you. There's a variety of different weapons to play around with that work well with different upgrades. Right now, there's only 2 maps available, but that's more than enough replayability. Hello, friends. So this video, took a while, obviously. I did not intend for there to be a 2-month gap in uploads. April I found to be a lot more distracting than I was expecting it to be. A lot of stuff came up, but I have a lot of stuff planned for going forwards. I do not intend for there to be more 2-month gaps in the future. If anything, I'm planning to have a more wide variety of things I'm going to release, and to do so more often. That being said, there's about to be another one because I have like a 3-week work trip coming up, so that's gonna affect upload times. But when I come back from that, I've got a lot of cool stuff planned. I really intend to, when I come back, I really intend to make this a more serious effort. I think the channel has a lot of potential. I still really like making these, and I think you can definitely make something out of this. So I appreciate you sticking around, not forgetting I exist, or at least remembering if you see the thumbnail, or if you see a video gets posted. And I'm going to do my best to not make anybody wait so long, or at least to live up to it, if I do. So, thank you for watching. It's gonna be a minute till I'm back. I'm going to keep it real with you, but I will be back, and it should be good.